One thing that I've noticed is not everyone is telling us when they have an appurtenant structure. Like, I'll give you an instance. We go to Emporia First, which is a beautiful church in Emporia. They have this huge bell tower that's not attached to the building. If you don't list it, you don't have coverage. So if you have something that's not attached, you need to let us know. Signs, we have coverage for. Another thing is, what we're trying to do is get the churches that have pipe organs and stained glass to try and get appraisals of those, because we can value a building fairly easily of what it would cost to rebuild it. But when you come to stained glass that may be 100 years old, there's no way we can value that. You need to get a qualified company in. Anyway, that's another thing that we're trying to do. And again, with the pipe organs, we'd like to have those listed separately, just so that you're aware of what a pipe organ really costs. And where you can get the valuation on those is from who works on them. They can tell you in a minute what it would cost to replace that organ. And we have some organs that are well over $1 million in this conference. So we would like to get those scheduled separately. If you have a question, if yours is scheduled separately, because you may not know, we send out the insurance to you in advance of renewal to get renewal updates with schedules, how we have everything scheduled out. And then once you renew, so everything came out to you mid-December of what it is for this year. If you can't find it in your church office, then just call me and I can tell you if you've got yours broken down or not. The next thing that I wanted to talk a little bit about is to make sure that you report all claims immediately to us or to the insurance carrier. There's a claims kit that's online at Kansas East Conference. Also, it's all been mailed to you when the renewal packets came out December 15th. But if somebody slips and falls in your church parking lot and they say, oh, you know, they may go to the hospital. Well, I'm not going to make the church responsible. We don't care. Medicare will make the church responsible, so we need to know about it. We don't want you to wait till the bills come in. The insurance company needs to know immediately if somebody is injured on your premises. The other thing is if you have a hailstorm go through, don't wait till 2 years later and say, oh, I have hail damage. We've got so much of that. If you've got significant hail that goes through and you see every other building in town's getting a new roof, then more than likely you do have hail damage. So it's better to do it then than wait, because then you've got all kinds of problems where the insurance company's saying, well, we weren't told about this, and they have to go back to how much it hailed during that period of time, and it gets to be very tricky. So just let us know if something happens. I mentioned the certificates again. Please make sure that you get it from anybody that comes on your premises. If you allow outside groups to use your facility, we recommend that you have an agreement with those outside groups. That's not a church group, but if you had like school that you allowed to use your church or some other business that's using your church, make sure that you have a building use agreement, a contract, so that you aren't held responsible for what they do. There's a sample out on the Kansas East website that we've put together. You can take that document, you can make it however you want it to, change it, however you want to do it, and it calls for insurance in there. And make sure you get a certificate of insurance. And that is just being very proactive so that the claims don't come back against the church when it's not the church's fault. Another item I want to bring up, and this is just going to end my session, is on international travel. We have an international policy that provides coverage for the churches that go on mission trips. We do need you to report to the conference office, to Kay Inman, well in advance of that trip. She will ask you some information, and the reason is right now in Haiti, ACE is requiring us to tell them how many are going, exactly what they're doing. It's such a scary country right now, and I know everybody wants to go there and help, but we have to make sure that people are safe, and we have to make sure that people have insurance coverage. So it is available, but I need you to go through Kay Inman and report it, giving her as much advance notice as possible. What she will give you is certificate cards that will give you a 1-800 number where you can get executive assistance coverage for if something happens over there, like happened in Haiti, and you were over there on an earthquake, and you need to get back. ACE uses a company called iJet, and they had private jets go in and pick up people in Haiti because there was no commercial transportation out. And they were en route the same day the earthquake occurred. So that's why it's so necessary that you do this. The coverage is there, so you just really need to make sure you follow the rules so that you get the needed items out there for your people. Okay. And Kay wants to know about 2 weeks in advance because there's information that has to be gathered now to go to Haiti. So what we recommend is at least 2 weeks notice. What an insurance company does is these volunteers are covered under, it's almost like a workers' compensation policy in the States for what they're doing over there. And there's an aggregate, they've got a lot of limits up on this. And they want to make sure of what their aggregate limit is out there for the number of people that are there. Because like the people that were in the Hotel Montana or whatever it was that went down, there was a lot of loss of life there. And they have to know how many at a time that they have. The other thing that's nice on the international travel policy, and this happened last year where we had a group from Church of the Resurrection going to Honduras. And there was a lot of, it's when that, when that president was overturned and they had somebody else brought in and there was all kinds of problems in that country. There's a website that you can go to on a daily basis that Kay has the passwords to, and you can pull up everything that's going on in that country. I mean, it tells you everything from the climate to what's going on with security, what you need to prepare for, and whether that country's on an alert at the current time. It stopped that one trip from going. So that website is worth its weight in gold just for people that are traveling. And that's why we stress that Kay be involved on that stuff.